Hi, 8th graders. This is a box and whisker plot, quick little lesson. So what a box and whisker plot does is it is a type of data display that shows the different types of medians of the data. So a quick little reminder is that a median is the middle set of the data, okay? And basically this little slideshow that I'm going to go through with you tells you what each of these things are, and then I'm going to give you a worksheet, and then you are going to use this video to help you fill out that worksheet. So remember, this is box and whisker plots. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. What does a box and whisker plot look like? So the first thing that I have is the box. The box is this bold box, the whole thing. Not just a chunk of it right here or just this little chunk right here. The box is the whole box, okay? And then the whiskers are the pieces that come out, okay? Box, whiskers, that's why it's called a box whisker plot. A box and whisker plot is set up by having 4 different sections. So from this dot to the box is a section. From this part of the box to the line of this box is a section. And then that's a section. And then this is a section. So there are 4 total sections that make up a box and whisker plots. Each section is important, and each section is called a quartile, okay? Each section is worth 25%, and that's why I called it a quartile, because it's got the word quarter. Quarter means, 1/4. 1/4 is 25%. So this is 25% of the data, this is 25% of the data, this is 25% of the data, and this is 25% of the data. It doesn't matter if this section looks smaller than this section, this will still be 25% and 25% and 25%. And when you add them all up, 25, 25, 25, 25, it is 100%, okay? Now here's how you know where to put your box and whisker plot on a dotted line. So we've got what percentage of the data are each of the sections. Oh, so it's just wanting to know this is like a quick little review. So 1 and 2, if this is 25% and this is 25%, sections 1 and 2 together would be 50%. 3 and 4, if 3 is 25% and 4 is 25%, then 3 and 4 together would be 50%. And if I stuck 1, 2, and 3 all together, that would be 75%. I don't know why that slide is in here. That's not very helpful. But now here's what is helpful. Each section of the whisker plot has a special name, okay? Let's start in the very middle of our box and whisker plot. It's this black line. That's called the median. Now, you guys know what a median is. A median is the middle of all your data. When you put your data in order from least to greatest, you will be able to fill out a box and whisker plot. So the median is the center. On this side, we've got the lower quartile. Up here, we have the upper quartile. We have the lower extreme on that side and the upper extreme on that side. So how this works is you get some data, right? So here is our data. And I want to make a box and whisker plot of this data. Step number 1, you always, always, always need to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. So they took our data and they did that. They put them in order of least to greatest. They got 2, 3, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Step 1, put your data in order. Now, remember, we need 5 things to make a box and whisker plot. We need a lower extreme, an upper extreme. That was this and this. And then we need a median, which is the very center of the box right here. And we need a lower quartile and an upper quartile. The lower quartile was what made that side of the box. The upper quartile made that side of the box. So I've got a median, a lower quartile, and an upper quartile. We need 5 things. Let's find the extremes first. The lower and the upper extreme are literally just the low number and the high number in the data. Okay, so is there an outlier? No. Good. We don't want outliers. So outliers mean we're going to have something totally different, so don't worry about that. But here's our data set, remember, in order. What is the lowest number? 2. And what is the highest number? 9. That means the lower extreme is 2 and the upper extreme is 9. Well, that's great. That means we have 2 of the 5 things we need, right? We got the lower extreme of 2, the upper extreme is 9. So now we put 2 red checks. Boop, boop. We got the lower extreme, the upper extreme. Now the median of that same data set is just the center of the data. So what they did is they went boop, 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 boop. Okay, 4 and 5. What's between 4 and 5? 4.5, right? If I was on a number line and I had 4 here and I had 5 here, in between would be 4.5. Okay, so 4.5 is my median, so we can check off we found the median. Now the lower quartile and the upper quartile. What you're going to do is when you take that data set, I want you to split it in half. And I just found out that the middle was right here, so I can literally split that in half right there, okay? Now, we find the lower quartile by taking the low numbers and finding the middle of them. And then we take the high numbers and we find the middle of them right there to find the upper quartile. I know this is like a lot to like take in right now. It's a lot of information. But after you find the median, which was right here, you're now going to find the median of the median of the median, right? So you're going to find the middle of the lower half and you're going to find the middle of the upper half. The middle right here would be 3, and then the middle right here would be a 7, because that's between 6 and 8, right? So that's what this next slide does. The next slide shows you that the middle of this lower quartile is going to be a 3, because what's between 3 and 3? 3. 3 is 3. And then what's between 6 and 8? 7, because on a number line, if I had a 6 and an 8, the middle would be a 7. Okay, so now we're checking off the things. We got all of our things that we need to make a box and whisker plot. And then right here, they're saying, okay, now let's put those numbers in so now we remember what they actually are, okay? Now that we have those numbers, we can come up with our scale and intervals for our box and whisker plot. Our numbers in our data set only go from 2 to 9, so we should make a scale go from 1 to 10, okay? So here is my number line. It's going by tens. The first thing I like to do is put my lower extreme and my upper extreme. My lower extreme, if you can remember, was 2. My upper extreme was 9. So I'm going to put a dot at 2 and a dot at 9. Okay, so lower extreme, upper extreme, done. Next, I like to do my median. My median was 4.5. So at 4.5, I'm going to go put a line, okay? And then I'm going to do my lower quartile and my upper quartile. Lower quartile was 3, upper quartile was 7. So 3, put a line at 3, put a line at 7. Now, with those lines, you can make a box. So literally just box them off. And then you draw the whiskers connecting your extremes. And that's literally it. That's a box and whisker plot right there. So that's what this next slide is doing. They're saying put your points. So they put a point at the lower extreme. They put a point at the upper extreme. And then they put their dots at 4.5, 3, and 7. I like to do lines like this instead of dots, because then you can just make your box easily like that, okay? And then that's what they did. They put their box right there, and then they put their line through there, and that's it. They did it. Oh, that's the end. Okay, so how this is a helpful piece of data is it shows you that 25% of the students' scores looked like this. 25% of the students' scores looked like this. But really the main data is in here. The median is that line, and then you can kind of tell based on like where that median is, like how kids did on tests or things like that, okay? So now what I do want to go look at is this worksheet. This is what I'm going to be making copies of for you. So the first thing I want you to do is put your name on it. I want to do one of these with you, and then the rest are all for you, okay? There's, looks like there is 12. Yeah, 12 problems. I'm going to do number 1 with you. Okay, so step number 1 is put our data in order from least to greatest. And it looks like in this first data set, they already did that for us. It's all in order. But if you look down in the next data sets, well, that one is in order. And that one's in order. So did they just put everything in order? Ooh, okay, so everything looks like it's in order until set 5. Set 5 is not in order. And then set 6 is not in order. So you're definitely going to want to, make sure you watch that carefully. But set number 1 is in order. So the next thing I need to do, and I like that this worksheet gave this over here. They said the minimum, the maximum, which would be our extremes, right? Quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3. Now, what I don't like is they didn't tell me which one was the median, right? So if I go back to that slideshow, let me go back a little bit. I want to give you a quick little refresher on the boxes and the whiskers. The median is the third quartile. If this is the first quartile, this is the second quartile, this would be the third quartile, the fourth quartile, and the fifth quartile, okay? So what I'm going to do over here on the worksheet is I'm going to say we've got the min, we've got the max, quartile 1, like if I had a box in Whisker Plot, this would be Q1, this would be Q2, and this would be Q3, okay? So what I'm going to do at Q2 is just say median, so that we can remember that Q2 is just the plain median, okay? So let's go and fill this out. I know the min and the max that's pretty easy. The minimum is 2, and the max is 10. Okay, and now I'm going to find the median of all the data. So what I'm going to do is just, I don't want to slash these out because I actually need those numbers later for the quartiles. So instead of slashing them out, I'm going to like make marks underneath, okay? So that way I still have like the numbers to use for my other data. All right, that was pretty easy. My middle is 5. Okay, now I'm going to take this section of the data, and that's Q1. I'm going to take this section of the data, and that's Q3. And I'm going to go find the middle of this data. So now I can cross them out. I got 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh, I'm between a 3 and a 3. That means my middle is a 3. Okay, cross this out. Cross, 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 cross. And between 7 and 8, that means this one is 7.5. Okay, now that I have my numbers, I've got this line already made for me. I look to see what I want my scale to go by. It looks like the highest number I need to go to is a 10. So I'm just going to start literally anywhere on my box and whisker plot. You don't have to start exactly at the center. I'm just going to start right here and say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will make it go to 11 just because I want them to be a little bit more, spread out. Now what I'm going to do is put my dots at 2 and 10 because that's my minimum and maximum. There's my 2. There's my 10. Okay. And then I need, let's see here. Let's do our quartiles. So I'm going to put a line at quartile 1, which is 3. I'm going to put a line at 7.5 and then a line at 5. And that's the box. And then you just connect the whiskers. And there you go. There's your box and whisker plot. All right, I will do one more. I'm going to do one that has data that's not in order. Let's go jump to number 5 together. Okay, so step 1 is put your data in order. It looks like my lowest is a 3. And then it goes 5. I'm going to cross these out while I do them so I don't accidentally do them again. There's another 5, 7, 8, 12, 13, 13. 15, 20, and 22, 22. Okay, so now I can go put my min and max. The min is a 3, the max is a 22. And now we find the center. So remember, I'm not going to slash these out because I kind of want those numbers still, so I'm just going to make little lines underneath to pretend those are my slashes. Okay, so it's going to be in between 12 and 13. The middle of 12 and 13 is 12 and a half. So that's quartile 2. Now quartile 1, we're going to take 12 and a half. We're going to split it right here, right? And we're going to find the middle of that data, and we're going to find the middle of that data, okay? Now I will slash them out. Boom, 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 boom. 5 and 7, so what's between 5 and 7 on a number line? 6. So my quartile 1 is 6. Now let's go find the middle of this data. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, 15 and 20. So what's the center of 15 and 20? If I had a number line and I had 15 here and 20 here, what jumps are in between those? I'd have 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So now go find the middle between all that. So I'm going to cross out the 20, cross out the 15, cross out the 19, cross out the 16. So now I've got 2 that are in between here. This was 17 and 18. So what's between 17 and 18? 17 and a half. Okay, great. Now I can go and make my box and whisker plot. I need to get up all the way to like, oh gosh. Looks like we need to get to 17.5. So, oh no, sorry, 22. That's my max is 22. I could go by ones, but I also have lots of halves in there, and these number lines they gave us are so tiny. So I'm going to be kind of crazy here and say we're going to go by, so let's say if this was 0, I'm going to skip a number. So I'm still going to go by like ones, but my scale is actually going up by halves. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, I'm not going to have enough room, I don't think. Oh my gosh, we're getting close here. Oh, I made it. Woo, that was a close one. I should have moved over just a tiny bit more. Okay, first we put our min and our max. So put a dot at 3, put a dot at 22. And now I'm going to put a line at I can just go from 6, 12 and a half, and 17. So I'm going to put a line at 6. I'm going to put a line at 12 and a half. I'm going to put a line at 17.5. Okay, and then now I can just make my box. And then connect your whiskers. And there you go, box and whisker plot. How this is helpful is like if I just saw this box and whisker plot, I could say what was the median of all the data? The median of all the data was right here. What was the highest number of my data? Right here. What was my lowest number of my data? Right here. What would be like the middle number of the lower quartile? Right here. What would be like the middle number of the higher quartile or the upper quartile? Right here. And just as a quick little refresher too, this is your min, this is your max. This line right here is Q1. This line right here is Q2. And this line right here is Q3. Okay? All right, guys, now that you've watched this video and you have an idea of how to do box and whisker plots, go ahead and try to do the rest of these on your own. Please turn these in when you are done. And you may work with partners, but I want to see what really you can do on your own. All right, guys, good luck.